I got into geology through doing architecture for a year, which I successfully failed at. I think partway through that course I had begun to miss the sciences a little bit, and also realised that my morals were tending towards a bit more than building and designing fancy houses for rich people, and more about, how can we look after this beautiful earth that we've been given. So my area of research is looking at how ice sheets impact sea level rise. What I'm really focused on at the moment is how Antarctica and Greenland might interact with each other to create different patterns of sea level rise.
I think I was interested in science from a very early age because of my mother, who was a botany teacher. I think those early experiences shaped an interest in science within me that I carried all along. Since I've been at PHF, I've been working on microbial water quality, looking at emerging pathogens, and looking at biopolymer mimics. What we're trying to do is to apply bacteriophages or viruses that infect and kill bacteria to help and reduce the burden of bacteria in drinking water distribution systems.
I wasn't privileged to come from a family that does farming. However, I was always concerned about food. What I loved doing was growing stuff behind the house. Could be tomatoes or anything. And that started my interest. Pivotal moment was when I was an undergrad. And that was when I got the admission into the School of Ag. And so that was the pivotal moment, where I'm looking at using my skill set as a plant pathologist in the area of disease control and pathogen control. So the first aspect that I've been looking at is working with the livestock or pastoral industry to be able to find ways that we can shift away from using chemicals in treating some of the diseases.
Always been really interested in science, and I remember growing up watching David Attenborough documentaries and Steve Irwin, so always been really keen on the natural environment, and I guess I just really wanted to understand what drives the relationships we see, how to make the environment stable, how to protect it. And then I came to New Zealand to do my PhD at Lincoln University with Hume, and that was studying weed invasions globally. So that really broadened my horizons, which led me now to studying weed invasions in New Zealand specifically. Wild and conifers has been the main area of my research. So I've been heavily involved in a 5-year MB Endeavour program called Vive la Resistance, and that's been trying to understand why these pines keep coming back and reinvading the same ecosystems over time.
My interest started back in probably when I was a little kid. Specifically, I was interested in numbers. That got me really interested in things like astronomy. I can have that classic dream to be an astronaut, and that lingered around with me until I went to university. I'm interested in how weather systems will change in a warmer climate. Things like record-shattering weather events, like the likes of Auckland Anniversary and Cyclone Gabrielle, and I really want to understand what's in store for us by 2100.
My interest in science started from a young age. I used to love volcanoes and dinosaurs as a kid. I initially thought I would study physics, but I took an option in geology and we went on some field trips to some remote, windswept Scottish islands. I've always really loved the outdoors, so getting to go spend some time in the field, I really enjoyed that from the get-go. My main project at the moment is looking at the re-injection of CO2 into geothermal reservoirs, as well as the benefits of keeping that CO2 out of the atmosphere, keeping it underground for longer. It also has beneficial effects in terms of maintaining the porosity and permeability of the reservoir, and that's obviously something that would incentivize operators to deploy that technology more rapidly.
What I love about the work I do is the people I get to work with every day. We can start in the laboratory at a very small scale, looking at what we love to do and what really makes a difference in the world.
Because as you grow your career, you don't know where things take you, where opportunities take you. So being able to have this platform to really talk about what I'm doing together with my team is an exciting moment.
Going to a conference, giving a presentation, and then the first time having people walk up to shake your hand afterwards and start asking you questions, it's really, really gratifying knowing that people are interested and that you're making an impact with the work that you're doing.
I think that's the coolest part about doing research into climate science, is that you get to do this cutting edge research, but it's useful and usable for people, right? I like doing it because I can think about science, but also because I can, do something meaningful for people.
I think success for me is about seeing science be used and usable for the general public. I'd like to see my research one day being used by somebody to make their life better.